With the new Arctic Monkeys album on the horizon, I just can't help but speculate what this new album will sound like. And it turns out, you guys can't either. Quite a few of you left a bunch of interesting comments on my last Arctic Monkeys video, link up here somewhere. And you guys have such differing opinions on what you think the new album will sound like and what you want it to sound like. I was kind of taken aback by how different everyone's opinions and thoughts seem to be on this subject. And from what we've heard over the past few weeks fairly recently, it sounds like Arctic Monkeys are going to continue on this path of exploration of this new tranquility-based hotel and casino sound. And for those people praying that Arctic Monkeys are going to make their first album again, put it this way, I don't think they're going to be going back to their roots anytime soon. Matt Helders, aka the Agile Beast himself, gave an update, albeit a brief one, on what this new album is going to sound like. Matt Helders has been quoted saying in that interview, "It kind of picks up where the other one, i.e. tranquility-based hotel and casino, left off musically." He then goes on to say, "I mean, it's never going to be like Are You Mine and all that stuff again. You know, the heavy riffs and stuff. But there are riffs in there and it's a bit more up-tempo, even though it's not loud," he added. It's hard to explain. Now, to some Arctic Monkeys fans, this is terrible news, just terrible. But for me personally, I'm more excited than ever, to be honest. I feel like we're going to hear another progression of Arctic Monkeys sound from tranquility-based hotel and casino. Certainly not as drastic as going from AM to tranquility base, but I think we'll see another shift in sound that includes more of these tranquility-based elements. And I don't think it will sound identical to tranquility-based by any means. I remember Matt speaking about AM when the album was due to come out, saying that he didn't think the album sounded that different sonically compared to what they'd done previously. But I think most of us disagree with that opinion. AM to me sounded like a step change in sound and something very different from what they'd done previously. So if that's anything to go by, maybe this new album's going to sound actually more different sonically than Matt is giving it credit for. After all, Helders did tell BBC Radio 5 in November that Arctic Monkeys always try and do something a little bit different with each release, after it emerged in August in 2021 that the band was recording new music in Suffolk. And we know from his interview that this album is just around the corner. When asked if the new album was ready to go, Helders replied, "Yeah, pretty much. It was a bit disjointed how we had to do it, and there are bits to finish off, but yes, it's all in the works." Now, for those of you still yearning for Arctic Monkeys to go back to their roots and make their first album again, I just want to let you know that that debut album still exists. You can still listen to it. That album will always be there. And I feel like the reason why the Arctic Monkeys haven't looked to the past for inspiration is purely because if they try to recreate that debut album, it would inevitably just be viewed as a less good version of that iconic debut. If you take AM for example, now AM was Arctic Monkeys' most iconic and popular album commercially, and it was the album that really broke Arctic Monkeys in America. Now, after the roaring success of AM, Arctic Monkeys could quite easily have just made an AM Part 2 for the next album. But as I said, if Arctic Monkeys had done that, I think everyone would have just automatically said this is a less good version of AM. And I think they would have said that even if AM Part 2 had better songs on it than AM, because it's just not the album that they fell in love with. I think if Arctic Monkeys had attempted this, they would have just found it almost impossible to recreate that initial buzz that was felt when AM was released, because at that time, that new sound was just so refreshing and surprising for so many of us. So in my opinion, I'm kind of glad, to be honest, that the Arctic Monkeys haven't tried to recreate the past sonically and instead just keep moving and experimenting with new things. But equally, I feel like if a band's going to move on sonically, to do that successfully, everyone in the band kind of has to be pulling in the same direction. If I just go back to that Drumathon interview that Matt did last week, when I was watching it, I couldn't help but just think, Matt, you could sound a little bit more enthusiastic about this upcoming album. Now, there were rumours, if I remember correctly, about a certain band member having reservations about Arctic Monkeys' changing sound and the direction that their sound was travelling in. And this was during the tranquility-based sessions. He certainly didn't seem that enthused in the Drumathon interview about the upcoming album and the kind of sound that that album has. Although that does seem to be his general demeanour in interviews. Maybe he's just playing it cool and he doesn't want to give too much away. Or maybe it's simply because the band's been sitting on this new material for quite a while. If you think about it, the band would have started work on this during the first COVID lockdown, so we're talking 3 years ago. In other words, even though this upcoming album is going to be new to us as fans, maybe it's not that new for the Arctic Monkeys. Who knows? Just food for thought, I guess. And with that, if you enjoyed this video, please do make sure to give me a like because it helps the channel out, and subscribe for more content like this. As I've mentioned in my other Arctic Monkeys videos, I'll be covering absolutely everything Arctic Monkeys in the lead up to AM7, so make sure you get subscribed. And if you feel like checking out some of my other videos, they should be appearing on screen round about now. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.